Well, back to school is here, and so are all those fall sports. Football Friday still get most of the spotlight and fanfare.
Yeah, but East Grand Rapids, they're changing that up this week with its first ever Rally on Reeds, making women's volleyball the focus on the 50-yard line of the football field. So many other fun reasons to get the family there. We've got Bruce Hungerford. He is the EGR varsity volleyball coach. Bruce, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So let's talk about Rally on Reeds Lake, the inspiration behind it, and what this is going to entail.
The inspiration is simply having fun in high school. There are youth sports and there are travel sports and all that, but at the core of it is still high school athletics. My athletic director, Chris Alster, and I came up with the idea to do it, and fortunately, it looks like the weather's going to be nice, and the whole community will be involved, so it's going to be a really nice night for the seniors and the rest of the team as well.
I was going to say, this is going to be a really great opportunity because it really is out in your community. So tell us a little bit about where they're actually going to be playing.
Yeah, so Memorial Field is right downtown East Grand Rapids, if you call that Gaslight Village. It's Rally on Reeds because Reeds Lake sits right next to the field. The home stands, which is where most people will be sitting, will overlook that. We've gotten really involved with the elementary schools and the middle school, so there'll be tons of kids around with the bounce house and the dunk tank and all those things. So the volleyball is the focal point, but it's also going to be a community event that starts earlier than that.
Yeah, and let's talk about the team. How are they feeling about this? Because, you know, sadly, right, women's volleyball not getting the spotlight as much as some of the other sports may, but This is really focusing the spotlight on these girls and their abilities.
Right. So that is a conversation that we're having. I grew up in a football town, a town of Fowler that supports their sports really well, and East supports their teams, but yes, primarily it's football, or if they make a run in hockey or girls soccer last year. So we've talked about the adrenaline rush that's going to come and when that crashes and how to handle it. But primarily just about having fun and taking it all in and then sort of resetting and getting back to playing the sport.
I love that. And also, too, you guys have some really special guests that are going to be joining you guys as well.
Yeah, so Kathy George is going to come over from the Grand Rapids Rise. She is so instrumental in growing volleyball as a whole, and then now being in Grand Rapids is amazing for that. So we attended a bunch of those games last year. I believe she's going to bring some players over. They have a cool roster this year. They have a former Michigan player, Mackenzie Welsh, and then they have 3 other ladies that were born in Michigan. So that's going to be a nice field this year.
Wonderful. And so you talk a little bit about some of the other activities. Talk about, you know, getting people there. Why should they show up and be there, and what do they need to do?
Yeah, to show up, just show up. It's going to be $5 cash at the door. We looked at doing some advanced ticketing, but thought this would be easier. Do that. We'll sell some gear. The dunk tank is getting some attention. I'm actually going to go in the dunk tank at 5:30.
Okay.
And then followed up by a high school teacher and principals from both schools. So that will be enjoyable. There will be some yard games and some bounce houses for the kids. So really something for everybody, and then we'll all flow into the volleyball aspect of it.
Yeah. Now, who are you guys playing to?
We're playing Hopkins.
Okay.
Yeah, we know a couple of families there from travel, and so we reached out to them and a couple other schools, and their athletic director at the time jumped right on it, so that made it nice. And their community is excited as well. Their whole volleyball program's coming up, and they should have a nice turnout.
Yeah, that's awesome. And also, too, tell us a little bit about maybe for the youth, you know, why is it important for them to maybe come to this event and to really, you know, see what you guys are growing as your program?
Yeah, so youth is a focus of mine. It's actually what I've coached.
Right.
So I did a lot of 5th and 6th grade free nights last year just to get more kids involved, and coached 7th grade last year, and now our 7th and 8th grade numbers are way up. There's like 40 kids trying out instead of like 20. So being from a small town, we looked up to the athletes that were in high school, and that's what we're trying to create, and give the older girls an opportunity to mentor down. But, you know, I really hope in 5-10 years, if you ask the kids in the high school when they fell in love with volleyball, that a bunch of them say Rally on Reeds on Wednesday night.
Let's hope so, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's get all the details out. Coming up August 21st, doors open at 5:30. That game kicks off at 7. Dunk tank. Bruce is going to put his money where his mouth is and get in there. Some principals as well. It's all happening at Memorial Field, East Grand Rapids. Bring the whole family. It's $5 a person. We'll be right back.